specifically talking about that incident that happened in Victorville, well, that's still under investigation, but broadly speaking, law enforcement says that this is really becoming an issue because a lot of times those kids and teens will ride them in places where they're not supposed to, mainly the middle of the street.
As soon as I came out, I heard a little boy crying. I looked and he was right here on our sidewalk, covered.
It was hard to see 11-year-old Emiliano Flores, who was riding an electric scooter, then on the ground after colliding with a Tesla. These are pictures of him from his hospital bed that family posted as they raise money for medical expenses. This neighbor, who didn't want to be identified, heard the impact from inside her home on Saturday.
And I caught a glimpse of his face. It was so swollen, looked like purple. His eyes were like swollen shut.
The Tesla windshield clearly shattered with the scooter stuck underneath it. The collision at Elliott Way and Caliente Road in Victorville is still under investigation, but neighbors have their suspicions. It happened on a residential road, and one, they say, people speed on constantly.
I've heard the person isn't getting charged. Okay, that's good for them, but what about the little boy? He needs some kind of justice. If it was an accident, I'm almost positive he was speeding, because cars speed through here all the time.
Emiliano's family tells KTLA he suffered several broken bones and will have a long recovery. The incident shedding light on the bigger picture of kids and teens riding e-bikes and motorized scooters. But in some cases, they're doing it where they're not supposed to be. On Tuesday, in the city of Orange, a Tesla was towed after two teens crashed into the car while both were on the same motorized scooter and traveling on the wrong side of the road. They're both hospitalized with major injuries.
This is a growing problem not only for our jurisdiction, but we're seeing this throughout Southern California.
Lieutenant Phil McMullen with the Orange Police Department is getting more complaints about the issue, and while it's best that kids aren't on their screens, it's also important to know what they can ride and where.
Parents need to look into the laws before they buy these bicycles for their children, or before these children are buying these bicycles for themselves. If you do have the non-legal kind that are not street legal, then you can't drive those on the street.
Again, this is something that we're seeing all across Southern California. We know that next week, the city of Temecula is going to be hosting their own informational session at their library, and that's where deputies will be giving people advice on what people can and can't do, where they can ride those e-scooters and e-bikes to educate the public. That's the very latest from Victorville. I'm Shelby Nelson.